Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty features remedies for inner healing and outer beauty. Real-time conversations with sisters in the Hebrew Israelite community, focused on healing our spirit, mind, and body, which will contribute to the healing of our nation as a whole. Sip a cup of tea, wear your favorite turban, tee, or tunic, and enjoy Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty. Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty features remedies for inner healing and outer beauty. Real-time conversations with sisters in the Hebrew Israelite community, focused on healing our spirit, mind, and body, which will contribute to the healing of our nation as a whole. Sip a cup of tea, wear your favorite turban, tee, or tunic, and enjoy Tea Time with Shebrew. Shebrew Royalty. She's got the fruits of the spirit, love, joy, and peace. She's got long suffering, gentleness, and goodness, temperance, faith, and meekness too. Shebrew Royalty. She's got the fruits of the spirit.
Shalawam, 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 Ahchwathyam, shalawam, shalawam. Wow, we are back. Shalawam. Oh my gosh, it is so good to be back. Oh my gosh, I have missed you all. I have really missed you all. Oh my gosh, it's so wonderful to be back. Come on in with your beautiful royal selves. Come on in. Please, please, please don't forget, do me that favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you haven't already done so. Call a sister and let her know that we are live, that we are back. I am back. All praises to the Most High. I am back. Let's see who's in the house. I know Ahchwathyam is here. Shalawam, Shalawam. Sister Johnny is here. Shalawam. Sister Ahab Karat is here. Sister Carla is here. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. It's so good to see you all. Wow. It has been, it seemed like forever. It's only been like a month, I think. But it just seemed like it was so long. It just seems like it was so long because I missed y'all so much. So let us just get this royal tea party started. Let us first give a huge shout out to the Almighty, AHAYAH. I am that I am, the Almighty, the God of the Hebrews and the Shebrews. In the name of His Son, YASHAYA, or Jesus Christ, as the world knows Him. The Wada Abba AHAYAH, for bringing us back together, I am, oh my gosh, what a blessing. What What an absolute blessing it is to be back. To be back. I can't say it enough how much I've missed you all. So I am your hostess, Kwala Yakaka. For those of you that may be coming upon this channel for the first time, I humbly thank you for joining me on this broadcast today. Thank you so very much for being here. And for those of you that have been here all the while, the water, again, for your support, the water for your patience with me, while I was gone, and for being back here with me on the first day back. So how was your week? As a matter of fact, how was your month? How was your month? I pray that you all had a blessed week and a blessed month. I certainly did. Gosh, it's been a month already since the last broadcast. It's wow. I'm telling you, time is flying, isn't it? Time is just flying. It's just zooming. It is just zooming. Sister Diane is here. Sister Diane Lewis is here as well. All praises. So good to see you. Good to see you. Hope everyone is feeling and doing well. I hope everyone is in excellent health, great spirits, considering the times that we're in. There are others that are freaking out and, losing their minds over stuff. But no, we have the peace. We have peace, right? We have so much peace because we know who is in control of everything and everybody. So we are back. Like I said, we are at peace, and I hope and pray that everyone is in excellent health, because that's important. And if you're not, I pray that the Most High touches and heals you, and bring you into wholeness. So let's see. Sister Princess is here. Shalawam says, Sister Johnny says, very refreshing, but of course, we've had this is, bear with me. Please bear with me tonight. As you can tell, I'm in a new studio. I moved my new home. I have a room specifically designated for my office and Shebrew Royalty Studio. But along with that, I have lost my big screen. My big screen is still in the living room, so I usually cast onto my TV screen so that I can read the comments and keep up with what's going on. But my screen on this television in this room is smaller, and the the font is not as clear. So sometimes I may be kind of squinting to read, or may look here on my phone. Maybe that's what I'll do sometimes, just to read some of your comments. So I'm going to read what Sister Johnny said. She said, very refreshing. But of course, we've had the other broadcasts to keep us pretty busy. All praises. So you went back and watched some of the previous broadcasts. That's excellent, Sister Johnny. The water. And then let's see, we have Last Impressions pastries. Yes, Sister Jeanette. Shalawam says, I miss and love you. I miss and love you too, Sister Jeanette. And the water. Sister Carla says, studio is beautiful, Benjamin. The water. It is so I think this is my second favorite room in the house. My first favorite room is, of course, my Shebrew retreat, which is my room, and it's beautiful, praise the Most High. But this really is it's cozy and it's serene, and it's purple. It's purple, which is my favorite color. And so, yes, I am really enjoying my Shebrew retreat here. Well, this is not the retreat, but my Shebrew studio. There's still a couple of things that need to be done. Like in my previous move, my coffee table, I have a beautiful set of a coffee table, end table, and my sofa table. But my coffee table was, the base was broken in the move. So I have to get that fixed. So I'm using an ottoman here to hold my stuff until I get that taken care of. But besides that, this room is actually pretty neat and pretty cozy. So I am enjoying it. I am enjoying it. So let's get these disclaimers and all of this stuff out of the way. Let us get this tea party started before moving forward. You know, I always make these disclaimers, and tonight is no different. Let me start by saying tea time with Shebrew royalty is not going to be everybody's cup of tea. We get it, we understand, and we don't fault you for that. It's okay. But if you come upon this channel and you realize that, you know, you don't agree with our beliefs, our lifestyle, that's okay too. That is quite fine. I encourage you to keep searching YouTube. And I am sure that if you continue your search, you will eventually find your perfect cup of tea and your perfect flavor. And you owe that to yourself, right? But if you're not quite sure if we are your cup of tea or not, I encourage you and I welcome you to stick around. And who knows, you may just acquire a taste for what Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty has to offer. But please, please, please do me a favor and do not leave any derogatory comments or statements in the comment box, because that would be distasteful. And so we really appreciate that, and we thank you in advance. Also, although I am a certified physician assistant and certified functional nutrition informed professional, and I will be touching on topics of health and wellness on my broadcast, we will not be utilizing this platform to diagnose or treat anyone else's illnesses, any illnesses whatsoever. If you are experiencing any medical problems, please consult your healthcare practitioner. And the views that you hear on this channel are the views of myself, those of my guest, and not those of any particular church or organization. As a matter of fact, speaking of certifications, since our last broadcast, I have achieved another level in in my healthcare journey. I am now a certified CPR and BLS, basic life support instructor, and wilderness first aid instructor, amongst other things that we were certified in during that whole process. So I will now be teaching in all of my spare time. I am going to teach CPR and BLS, basic life support, first aid, wilderness first aid, and so on and so forth. So that is one of the things that has been put in my spirit that I should do. And it's primarily to get our people in our church certified in basic life support, wilderness first aid, and especially CPR. So that is my newest venture. And it is, yes, the business name is Qualified, my name, QALAFIED, Qualified Training and Certifications. So yes, once you are trained, you will become qualified. How about that? How about that? Praise the Most High. So that's my new venture, and I'm so excited about that. I'm so excited about that. So yeah, stay in touch with me. Those of you that want to be, that need to be CPR certified, come on over here and get qualified. All right. I just had to throw that out there. So one more thing, if you would like to be a guest on Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty, please send me an email to shebrewroyaltybiz@gmail.com and include a brief description of your business, your product, your service, or a topic that you would like to co-host with me. I would love to hear from you and brainstorm on how we can collaborate to heal and strengthen our nation through strengthening Shebrews throughout the four corners of the world, right? So please, please, please reach out to me at shebrewroyaltybiz@gmail.com. As a matter of fact, let me see about getting it up on the screen here for you. There we go. shebrewroyaltybiz@gmail.com. Send me an email there if you would like to come on the show with me and talk about your business, talk about your product, your service, or like I said, if there's a topic that you would like to co-host with me, I would really, really appreciate it. And I'm sure that all of our sisters would appreciate you coming on here as well to share whatever your gifts and talents are. Come on out. Do not be shy. Do not be shy. Come on out. All right. Come on down. So let's talk about my guardian doc. Let us talk about my guardian doc. We are going to keep it moving here because we have a lot to delve into tonight. Let us talk about my guardian doc. There we go.
Life can throw unexpected curveballs. When it comes to your family's health, you need someone in your corner. Introducing My Guardian Doc, your virtual medicine program provides compassionate medical guidance and
give me just a second. I am not hearing it, so let me see what's going on here. Let's see.
world-class care around the clock.
It is not playing. Are you able to hear it? Let me try it again. Give me just a second.
curveballs when it comes to your family's.
I am not hearing it in my sisters. You can hear it? You can hear it loud and clear. Okay, I am not hearing it. That's interesting. That is interesting. So let me go ahead and play it for you. Like I said, I cannot hear it, but that's okay. As long as you can hear it, that is fine.
Health, you need someone in your corner. Introducing My Guardian Doc, your virtual medicine program provides compassionate medical guidance and world-class care around the clock. Within minutes, talk to a licensed physician. We are My Guardian Doc. All our doctors are guided by our Patient Safety and Care Equity Council, whose mission is to ensure you receive safe and equitable care. For just $27 per month, your entire household gains access to a team of dedicated medical professionals. Whether it's just sniffles or sneezes, medication refills, or a question about diagnosis or treatment, or the need to speak to a behavioral health specialist in the privacy of your home, no concern is too big or too small. My Guardian Doc is here to help you. No surprise fees, no hidden costs, just quality care when you need it most. With My Guardian Doc, for just $27 per month, your entire household's associated benefits include immediately lower micromort count, which is your 1 in a million chance of dying, on-demand access to doctors, reduce healthcare costs, improve healthcare outcomes, decreased visits to the hospital or emergency room, increase your lifespan, and gain peace of mind knowing your family's health is always protected. From urgent care, primary care, medical guidance, prescription discounts, hospital bill negotiation, and much more, My Guardian Doc is here for you every step of the way. Millions of people have expressed a need for My Guardian Doc. Join the fastest growing subscription service. Visit myguardiandoc.com to subscribe today, because your family's health deserves the best.
So that is My Guardian Doc. That is My Guardian Doc. I am so glad that you all were able to hear that, because I wasn't. I did not hear a thing. So I am going to have to figure out what happened there. I am so glad that you all were able to hear that. So that is My Guardian Doc. And like the video says, for more information, please visit myguardiandoc.com. If you would like to sign up for coverage, you can find the subscription link for Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty viewers in the description box below this video. So yeah, like I said, very interesting. I wasn't able to hear it, but we will keep it moving. We will keep it moving. The water. Sister Jeanette says, congratulations. The water, sis. The water. Yes, I have been a busy bee. I have been a busy bee. I told y'all I am Benjamin. And what is Benjamin known for? Benjamin is known to have 13 jobs or more, right? Amen. We are known to have 13 jobs or more. So, you know, I have to live up to that expectation. I must have at least 13 jobs. That is what Benjamins do. So once again, hit the like button, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you haven't already done so. I hope that you are wearing your favorite turban, tea, tunic, or your dress. And that being said, let's sip some tea and have healthy talk. Let's get this royal tea party started. Let's do this. So sisters, talk to me. What is your cup of tea tonight? What is your cup of tea? You know, we always have to talk about, get the tea on what's your tea. Sisters Sister Diane says, work, 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 work. Rihanna says, oh, I didn't know Rihanna said that, but okay. Work, work, work. But you know, when you're really doing things that you enjoy, it really doesn't feel like work. It really doesn't. And so now that I'm able to do what I want to do, how I want to do it, it really is not work. So once I start teaching those classes, that's going to be so much fun as well, because as you all can tell, this is my element. I am in my element when I'm doing this kind of stuff, when I'm talking to you all, when I'm teaching, even when I'm learning, because I learn from you all as much as you learn from me. And as I'm doing these classes or these presentations, these broadcasts, I learn a lot as well, because I'm having to do the research on certain things. And so I love learning, and I really, really enjoy teaching. So that's going to be a blast when I start teaching my CPR classes. We're really going to have a lot of fun with that. It doesn't have to be all stuffy and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and then that's it. It's good. We're just gonna, as a matter of fact, we'll probably come up with a song or something that we're going to use to learn our compressions, and yeah, we're just gonna have a blast. So not just work. What was that old saying? All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. I guess it does the same thing to Jill. Makes her a dull girl. So sisters, what is your cup of tea? What is your cup of tea? Talk to me. Let's see. Let's see what you have. Sister Jeanette says mineral waters. Shalom, Sister Jeanette. Mineral water. That's good. That's awesome. Sister Johnny says pretty soon we may all need 13 jobs or more. If we can find them. If we can find them, we have to create our own jobs now, right? Because these jobs are going to other people. So we have to create our own jobs. So you can create 13 jobs or 13, however you want to say it, right? If you want to, that's your prerogative. Do like me, have 13 plus jobs that you create. Don't wait for anybody else to create these jobs for you. You create your jobs. And let's see, Sister Ahab Karab says, I'm having chamomile and black pomegranate and a splash of lime and honey. Yum. I agree. That is yum. That is yum. That is yum. So my tea tonight, my cup of tea tonight is toasted coconut tea. Toasted coconut tea, which is not only super delicious, but extremely, extremely healthy. So let's check out this video so you can learn what you've been missing if you haven't been drinking coconut tea. So I hope that I'm able to hear this video as well, but in case I am not, please let me know if you are able to hear it. Put a thumbs up once I share it, because I may not be able to hear it again, just like the other video. So if you're able to hear it, do me a favor and give me a thumbs up, say all clear, however you want to let me know that you are able to hear this video, because this is such important information. And as a matter of fact, I am going to have a sip of my coconut tea. And like I said, yum, yum, yum. Yummy. Sister Johnny says, no tea for me tonight. I am brainstorming. Like I said, I'm brainstorming my mind for sewing ideas. Oh, wow. Oh, yay. We have to talk about that, Sister Johnny. We have to talk about that. So let's get this video up here about coconut tea. Coconut tea.
Have you ever heard of or tried coconut tea? An intriguing blend of tea may not be as widely recognized as your typical green or black teas, but it certainly holds its own. This tropical infusion is quite simply a delightful mix of coconut water and tea leaves. Originating from the heart of Southeast Asia, coconut tea has been enjoyed for centuries for its unique taste and myriad benefits. Stay tuned to uncover the amazing benefits of this tropical delight. First, let's delve into the nutritional profile of coconut tea. Coconut tea, a blend of tea leaves and coconut milk, is a powerhouse of nourishment. It's a delightful mix of antioxidants, minerals, and vitamins, working in harmony to boost your overall health. Antioxidants, for instance, play a crucial role in eliminating harmful free radicals from the body, giving your system a much-needed detox. Minerals like potassium, magnesium, and calcium are also present, essential for maintaining strong bones and a healthy heart. The vitamins in coconut tea are impressive too, including vitamin C and a range of B vitamins. These are key players in promoting a robust immune system and supporting energy production in the body. But let's not forget about the healthy fats. Coconut milk, a key component of coconut tea, is rich in medium-chain triglycerides, or MCTs. These fats are easily absorbed by the body and used for energy, rather than being stored as unwanted fat. Now that you know what's in it, you might be wondering, what can it do for me? Get ready to be amazed by the array of health benefits offered by coconut tea. Let's dive right into it. Coconut tea is not just a delightful blend of flavors, it's a powerhouse of wellness that can contribute to your health in numerous ways. Firstly, if you're looking to shed a few extra pounds, coconut tea could be your new best friend. It's rich in medium-chain triglycerides, commonly known as MCTs. These MCTs are known to increase the rate of metabolism and support weight loss. So the next time you're craving a midnight snack, consider reaching out for a warm cup of coconut tea instead. But the benefits don't stop at weight loss. Coconut tea is a heart's best friend too. It contains potassium, a critical mineral that helps regulate blood pressure and heart function. Plus, the MCTs in coconut tea have been linked to lower levels of bad cholesterol. This double whammy of benefits means that coconut tea can be a delicious way to keep your heart healthy. Next up, let's talk about digestion. Coconut tea has a high fiber content which aids in smooth digestion and prevents constipation. It also has antimicrobial properties that can help ward off harmful bacteria in the gut, promoting overall digestive health. And let's not forget about skin health. Coconut is famous for its hydrating properties, and these benefits extend to coconut tea as well. Regular consumption can lead to glowing, well-moisturized skin. Plus, the antioxidants in the tea can help combat skin aging, keeping you looking fresh and youthful. Lastly, coconut tea can be a great stress buster. Its calming aroma and the soothing warmth can help relax your mind, making it an excellent choice for those stressful days. Impressive, isn't it? But that's not all. Stay tuned to discover even more benefits of this tropical wonder beverage. With coconut tea, the possibilities for improved health and wellness are as vast as the ocean from which this wonder nut hails. Coconut tea has more to offer than just physical health benefits. Delving into the realm of cognitive wellness, this tropical infusion has some impressive attributes to its name. Its natural properties can potentially uplift your mood, making it a great beverage choice for those blue days. The presence of antioxidants not only fortifies your physical health, but also helps in enhancing mental clarity. So, whether you're preparing for an important meeting or simply winding down after a long day, a cup of coconut tea can be your perfect companion. Moreover, the delightful aroma of coconut tea can provide a sensory experience that promotes relaxation and stress relief. Imagine the scent of tropical coconuts wafting through your space, creating an environment of tranquility and calm. It's not just a tea, it's a holistic wellness experience. To summarize, coconut tea is a powerhouse of benefits. It's loaded with antioxidants, supports heart health, aids digestion, and even promotes weight loss. But beyond these, it also contributes to mental well-being, offering mood enhancement and stress relief. Drinking coconut tea isn't just about quenching your thirst. It's about nourishing your body, revitalizing your mind, and embracing a healthier lifestyle. So next time you're thinking about a refreshing drink, why not consider coconut tea? Your body might just thank you for it.
Play home, that's how's it going in Cantonese. I'm Will Young from youngmancooking.com. Welcome to the channel.
Wow, wow, wow. So many excellent benefits. I am so glad I watched the video earlier because I didn't hear a thing. I did not hear a thing once again. So I don't know what's going on. I'm going to have to troubleshoot this at some point, but it was working perfectly fine earlier. So who knows? Who knows what's going on there? I am so glad that you all were able to hear that video though, and to hear all about the excellent benefits of coconut tea, right? We all know about coconut milk and coconut water, coconut cream, but you know, you don't think about coconut tea, and it just makes sense. It just makes sense. So the tea that I purchased, it's an organic tea. I think it's from Bigelow, if I'm not mistaken, and it's roasted or toasted coconut with almond, and then I used the coconut milk as my creamer, and it's really delicious. But with the coconut milk, it is oily just because of the coconut milk. So and like the video says, the MCT oil is so very, very healthy. So I would strongly recommend every now and then having some coconut tea with coconut milk, organic coconut milk. So Sister Carla says hibiscus tea. All right. That's what I'm saying. We're all tropical tonight. We have the coconut tea, we have the hibiscus tea. What else do we have going on? Let's see. Sister Jeanette said she's having the mineral water, chamomile and black pomegranate. So there we go again with the tropical stuff. Yes, 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 yes. Who else is here? Who else is here? All right. So hit the like button, share, and subscribe again if you haven't already done so. Please, please, please. Because like I said, I've said previously, you know, we get a lot of views, but the likes do not add up to the views. So please, please don't forget to hit that like button and share. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe as well. Because I do not promote on social media. Why? Because I don't have any other social media platforms. I'm not on any of those. So I depend on your support by sharing this channel and also inviting other sisters and family members, friends, by word of mouth to join us. All right. So once again, I am back. And it's so great to be back after a well-deserved break. So although the break, as I sent out a text to some of you to remind you that we are back on tonight. And like I said in that text, although the break was a necessity due to moving to a new home and not due to vacationing on a beach somewhere in the Mediterranean or on an island in the Caribbean, it was refreshing. It was refreshing nonetheless. You know, it was still pretty refreshing. And one of the reasons is because this move had to be one of the smoothest moves ever that I've had, besides when I was in the military. Because when I was in the military, my moves were so smooth. Why? Because they would send the packers over. I didn't have to lift a finger. I didn't have to pack a thing. The packers would come in and they will pack my entire house up, ship it off, send it on its merry way, and I will show up, and then they will bring it to the house, wherever my new assignment was, and unpack everything. And so those moves were smooth. That's what I'm talking about. But I don't have that luxury anymore, right? Of having packers just come in and pack everything up for me. And I don't have that luxury. But the reason this move was so smooth is because, you know, first of all, I prayed about it, which I always do. But what I was able to do, praise the Most High for this blessing, was I was actually able to, 11 days before my lease ended at my other place, I went ahead and started my lease here. So I had an overlap of my lease of about 11 days. So I had both places during that time. So what I did at the previous house was I just decided I didn't want a whole bunch of boxes, packing up a whole bunch of boxes and moving all of these boxes and then getting here and then having to unpack 1,000 boxes. So what I decided to do was buy just a few boxes. I think it was 8 boxes that I bought. So at night at the previous house, I would go in a room and I would pack the small stuff in that room, and I would pack between 4 and 6 boxes that night. And the next day, I would bring those boxes over here and unpack those boxes and put them in the places where they needed to be, like the kitchen, putting everything in the cabinet there, and so on and so forth. And so by the time all of the big stuff were brought over to the house, the majority of the small stuff already had their place. And for those small things that needed to be placed in the bigger things, at least it was simple by that point. Not saying that everything, is in its proper place right now. There are still some things that need to be done, but not like my previous moves when I would pack a gazillion boxes and have boxes just stacked up in the hallway and in the rooms and unpacking them, taking months to get all of these boxes unpacked. So this move was very smooth in that way. Plus, I wanted to give a shout out to a couple of the sisters that came over to the house and helped me out. Sister Princess, Sister Donna came over and lend me a helping hand with packing the boxes and moving stuff over here. So the water, Sister Princess and Sister Donna. And then not to mention the brothers from the church. The brothers showed up. They showed up to do all the heavy moving, of course. And I think it was 6 brothers that came out. And I'm telling you, they showed up like gangbusters. They just came in. And that day when we moved, it was a Sunday. That day when we moved, out of nowhere, it just started pouring. It was like buckets of rain just falling from the sky. It just started pouring down rain to the point where within minutes, the streets were just flooded in minutes. And we didn't stop. It didn't faze us. The brothers didn't stop. They stopped momentarily while, of course, I fed them. I made sure that they ate well, and of course I had to do that. That's necessary. I mean, these brothers, they came out and they did that work. And, we stopped for a break so that they could eat. But besides that, I have a sauna. I have a far infrared sauna. And those brothers broke that sauna down, brought it over here and built it back up like that, like it was nothing. And that went for everything that they did. So I'm telling you something. This church that we are in, for those of you that are a part of the church that I'm a part of, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know about the sisterhood that we have. You all know about the brothers that we have in our church and how they just handle business. So I just had to give that shout out. I know the brothers aren't on here, but for those of you who, have a husband that is part of that group, that, and I've already let him know how grateful I am. I'm just thankful to the Most High that we have that kind of a relationship within this body. So praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. So this move, like I said, it was smooth. It was very smooth. So yeah, that was such a blessing. That was such a blessing. So that's what I wanted to say about the move, which brings me to the topic and the inspiration for tonight's show, right? I think I thought Sister Deidre is here. Sister Dee is here. Yeah, Sister Dee is here. Shalawam, Sister Dee. Good to see you. Good to see you. Shalawam. Yeah, so like I said, that brings me to the inspiration of tonight's show, Declutter Your Life. So the time that I spent preparing for and actually moving was a reminder of how important it is for us to just let go of stuff, that no longer serves a purpose in our lives. And I should say a positive purpose, because we have some things that do serve a positive purpose that we may want to hold on to, and we'll talk about that later. But then we also have some things that have so much negativity attached to it or to them, and we still hold on to them for whatever reason. So let's talk about that. So although at some point these items may have served a useful purpose, brought us joy or contentment, many times, if we're honest, we realize that that is no longer the case. These items have outlived their usefulness in our lives and are now actually a source of clutter and confusion. And it's time to let them go. And I say this from personal experience, because I'm telling you, I have stuff. I have stuff. And when I moved here from California last year, that was my goal. My goal was to, because my move was so quick, everything happened so fast. When I moved from California to here, it was like in the blink of an eye. I blinked, and one day I was in California, and then the next day I was in Texas. That's just the way it seemed. And I thought that while I was here or at that other place, that I would have time to gradually, start downsizing, getting rid of things. But once again, I wasn't there a year when I was given notification that my landlord was doing stuff with the place, I think Airbnb. And so my lease wasn't going to be, it wasn't going to be renewed. And at that point I knew, okay, this is a God thing. This is a God thing. And, whatever reason he wants me to move again. And I was fine with it. I had no problems whatsoever, because I knew, and I'm no stranger to moving. Like I said, having been in the military for as long as I was, and moving like every 2 years, every 2.5 years, that just became part of my life, part of my journey. So moving to me, it ain't, as we would say, it ain't nothing but a thing. You know, if I have to pack up and go, I have to pack up and go. And that's why, you know, I know when it's time for us to be the true pilgrims here on this earth, I'm ready. I'm ready to be a pilgrim. But in the process of doing that, I still need to get rid of some stuff. I really need to start getting rid of some stuff. So that being said, yeah, just you know, moving. So this is what happened. So I heard from the landlord, okay, not renewing the lease. And so I said, okay, well, it's time for me to start looking for a place. And how I found this place was quite interesting as well. It's only a mile or a little bit under a mile from where I was living before. Isn't that interesting? And that's why I was able to just pack things up at night, and then the next day just jump in my car and drive a mile or less than a mile, get here and unload things. It wasn't like I had to drive a half an hour to a new place, right? It was just a mile down the street. And this was the interesting part. Before I even knew this place was here, I would drive on the main street, come out of where I was living before, get on the main street and drive, and I will see the street that leads to this house. I would see that street, and every time I drive by there, I'd say to myself, I'm going to go down that street one day, because I could see some of the houses in the area, and I thought, oh, that seems like a nice place to live. But I wouldn't stop. I wouldn't go down that street until this one day I happened to be going to the gym, and I was actually behind schedule that day. I just wanted to get to the gym, get my workout done, and then get it over with. But as soon as I got to the street, it was like, I know, the Holy Spirit said, okay, go down the street. And so I immediately just turned off and went onto the street. And when I got to the end of the street, a dead end, I had to go right or left. So I looked right or left. I said, let me go to the right. I went to the right. And on the right-hand side of that street was a house for sale. And on the left-hand side of the street was a house for rent. And I saw the house for rent, and I completely forgot about having to go to the gym right away. I called the number that was on the sign, and long story short, before you knew it, everything just went through. Everything. And this was the other interesting part. This was the other interesting part of the story, is that the house had just gone on the market for rent 1 or 2 days before I decided to turn off onto that street. So had I turned off onto this street previously, when I was having those thoughts about, oh, just go down this street one day, this house would not have been available for rent at that time. So I'm telling you, the Most High, the Holy Spirit, the Ruach is always on time, always on time. We just have to be in tune. We just have to be in tune to that Holy Spirit. And that's what happened. And, you know, there's just so much about the story. There's so much about the story. But when I went and turned in my application, I turned it in. And first of all, here in Texas, once you apply for the house, they won't hold it for any longer than 2 weeks. So this happened. I found this place, I think it was the 1st of July, and they were encouraging me, since my lease didn't end until July 31st at the other place. They said, well, wait until the middle of July, so that once you apply, you get approved, you have the 2 weeks to move in. So you'll be moving in right at the end of your lease. But like I said earlier, that's not what happened. The Holy Spirit just dealt with me and showed me, no, you need to apply earlier. You need to move in earlier. And this was so interesting because it seems as though everybody that was involved in this whole process of me getting this house, from the maintenance guy that came into the house, the guy that came to look at the garage door, the real estate, the property management manager, we all ended up having some serious conversations about the Most High, about God. I mean, even going to the property manager and she's saying, you know, you know what, I'm going to turn in your paperwork, and if all goes well, I will, you know, I should have the information. I should have your authorization, your approval in a couple of days. And so I told her, well, all is going to go well because I've already claimed the house. And so that's what I told her. And when I said that to her, her response was, she looked at me and she said, "In Jesus' name." Oh my gosh, that was so cute. You know, I accepted that because at one time I said in Jesus' name also, right? Before I knew his name to be Yashaya, right? So when she said that, I said, amen. And everything went through like clockwork. And when I went to pick up my keys for the house, and I know, oh my gosh, I just ended up on this tangent here. We'll get to the show in just a minute, but I had to tell this story. But when I went to pick up my keys, she pulled up a seat and we sat down, and of course I signed the lease and everything. She handed me the keys, and we sat there for over an hour talking about God. And she even told the her receptionist at the front desk, she looked out the door and she says, "We're having church in here." And I thought, amen. And she's Esau. She was Esau. But like I said, the whole process of getting into this house, everyone that walked in this door, the people that were involved, the guy that came out to hang my televisions on the walls, we had these deep conversations about the Most High. And isn't it very, very interesting? So, sisters, I say all this to say that the Most High is working in every single area of our lives. Every single area of our lives, he is working, and he's working things for our good. So now that that's out of the way, I'm moved, I'm settled in, praise the Most High. I have my angels encamped around me. I know I do. Let's jump in. Let's talk about tonight's show. I just had to give you all the backdrop of how I ended up here. Like, I had to give you the backdrop of how I ended up in Texas last year, because he works in very mysterious and miraculous ways. And sometimes it requires us to tell our testimony so that others can see that the testimonies in their lives as well, and feel comfortable in sharing those testimonies, because at the end of the day, it's not even about us, it's about the Most High, right? So I just needed to tell you all that about this move, how I ended up here, and let's jump right on in. So we talked about these items that we need to get rid of. So let's just jump into the show, because I am ready for this super exciting and impactful show. It's been way, way, way too long since our last show. It's been way too long. So I'm ready to jump right in. So like I said earlier, my move was just a reminder of how important it is to let stuff go that no longer serves a meaningful purpose in our lives. And this stuff may be physical, emotional, or mental baggage, right? It can manifest in either physical, emotional, or mental baggage. For instance, the physical baggage may be clothing, maybe furniture, maybe cars, cards, letters, etc. All these things that we can hold in our hands or put on a shelf or put in a drawer, in a closet, in a garage, in a storage shed. This physical baggage take up so much space in these areas, right? And at some point, if they're in a storage shed for a year and they're not being used, at what point do we say, I have not used this stuff in a year, maybe it's time for me to get rid of it? And getting rid of it doesn't necessarily mean throwing it in the garbage. It may mean donating it. It may mean selling it. There are just so many other ways to get rid of things rather than just throwing it in the trash, because a lot of times that's why we hold on to things, right? Because we see the value in it and we don't think, oh my gosh, throwing this in the trash would be a waste. And so I want us to broaden our mindset about when we start talking about decluttering and not always think trash, right? So this physical baggage may trigger a mental memory that evokes an emotional response, which may either be negative or positive. So once again, this physical baggage may trigger a mental memory that evokes an emotional response, which may be negative or positive. So an example of that is this physical thing may be, I'll just use a dress, because I know a lot of us sisters, we have these dresses, and at one point when we wore this dress, it fit perfectly. We looked amazing in that dress. And wherever we went in that dress, we had so many compliments. Wow, that's such a beautiful dress, and so on and so forth. And maybe throughout the years, that dress, for whatever reason, doesn't fit the way that it used to at that time. And so it's still hanging in the closet, because why? We are waiting to get back to wherever we were at that time so that we can wear that dress again, because we remember those compliments. We remember how we felt when we wore that dress, when, how it made us feel. And so we have held on to that dress because we want to get back to that place. But it's been 5 years. Maybe you're not supposed to get back to that particular place where you were 5 years ago. So how long are you going to hold on to the dress? Or are you going to say, okay, this dress at that time served that purpose, and now it's really just time to let it go, because now I'm in a different place, and maybe you want to lose weight or what have you, but putting all that pressure on yourself to get back to where you were 5 years ago just so you can get into a dress, is that creating an emotional response? That emotional response may be not feeling so good about yourself because you don't fit in that dress like you used to. Maybe it's causing this pressure that you need to lose this weight really soon because you don't feel like you look like you did 5 years ago. So is that dress evoking an emotional response that is positive or negative? Right? So at some point you have to decide, is this a positive response? And if it is, if you want to hold on to it, then we'll get to that point as well, where we talk about these sentimental, these items that are sentimental. Or is it a negative response where every time you look at this dress, you have this anxious feeling, or you feel sad or depressed because you're not where you were 5 years ago? If that's the response that you are getting from this dress, it's time to get rid of that dress. Right? So let's talk about how we do this. How do we make these decisions? As I said, these memories may be positive or negative. The physical baggage that they are tied to, positive memories. So these physical baggage that are tied to positive memories are much more difficult to let go of because of that feel-good emotion that they bring on by the attachment that you have to them because of sentimental value. So usually these items that, like I said, give you that positive response, they're really hard to get rid of. Whereas it's easier to get rid of something that brings up negative memories, negative emotions, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I remember when, you have a picture of you and someone, and when you look at this picture, it just brings back these negative memories. And it's easy to just tear that picture up and throw it away, right? Those are the ones that are easy to get rid of because of the negative emotions that are attached to them. So let's start talking about how to deal with both of these items. So it's important for you to determine if it is necessary to hold on to the baggage, to experience those emotions, or if those feelings are going to remain no matter what. Because even with those items that have those positive, that are attached to those positive memories, do you really need the item? Do you really need whatever it is to trigger that memory of that good time that you had? Or are you going to have that memory no matter what, without having to have the clutter that goes along with that memory? So at this time, you can decide if you should keep the baggage or let it go. So let's look at this. I have an article here by WebMD, Mental Health Benefits of Decluttering. There are just so many reasons why we need to declutter for our mental well-being. So let's look at this video. Excuse me, let's look at this article. Let's see here. Who do I have here? Sister Johnny says, all praises to the Most High, AHAYAH. She knows just what you need when you need it. Khan says, absolutely. Khan. She sure does. All right, let's get this article up here. And this is, once again, Mental Health Benefits of Decluttering by WebMD. So here we go. So let's talk about the mental health benefits here. says here, medically reviewed. Oh, we don't need to go through that. Let's just get to the article. It says here, if you are looking for an easy way to reduce stress, decluttering your environment may be a good place to start. Getting rid of excess stuff can benefit your mental health by making you feel calmer, happier, and more in control. A tidier space can make for a more relaxed mind. Benefits of decluttering. Untidy environments often increase stress. For most people, in one study, women who described their homes with positive language had a lower level of the stress hormone cortisol than women who described their homes as cluttered or let's see that word, unfinished. You know what? Give me just a second. I have a light that is blinding me here. I think that's better, much better. I can see better now. I can see clearly now. The light is gone. I can see clearly now. The light is gone. Okay. Still, the case for decluttering isn't clear cut. Another study found that while orderly environments are more linked to healthy choices, disorderly environments promote creativity and fresh ideas. If you value, you know what, give me just a second. What I am going to do is I'm going to read it from, I'm going to keep that on the screen for you all and scroll as I go along, but I am going to read from something that's closer. Give me just a second. All of my electronics are just doing whatever they want to do here. Give me just a second here. I'm getting there. Okay. All right, so it says here, so I'll go back to benefits of decluttering. Let me scroll back up just a little bit here. Benefits of decluttering. It says untidy environments often increase stress for most people. In one study, women who described their homes with positive language had a lower level of stress hormone cortisol than women who described their homes as cluttered or unfinished. Still, the case for decluttering isn't clear-cut. Another study found that while orderly environments are more linked to healthy choices, disorderly environments promote creativity and fresh ideas. If you value creativity, you may want to allow yourself to be a little messy in certain areas of your life. That's interesting. For most people, decluttering can promote productivity and improvements in mental and physical health. Benefits of decluttering include, let's see what these benefits are. Better focus. Clutter makes it difficult to find what you need. It may also distract you, Getting rid of visual clutter can help you focus better on any task at hand. Higher self-esteem. When you have trouble staying organized, you may feel out of control. Improving your living space can restore feelings of competency and pride. Better relationships. Conflict with family or roommates often occurs when one person can't control clutter. Also, you may be more comfortable inviting friends into your home when it's tidy. Well, that makes sense, right? No one wants to invite people over to a messy house, and no one wants to be invited to a messy house, right? All right, so let's see here. Where are we? When it's tidy. And then lower risk of asthma and allergies. You may think your house is messy, but not dirty. But it's hard to clean around piles of belongings. Decluttering can prevent pests and reduce dust, mold, and mildew, which may trigger asthma and allergies. Improved lifestyle and well-being. It's easier to prepare healthy meals in an orderly kitchen, and most people sleep better in a neat room with a tidy bed. That is so true. So here are some tips for decluttering your space. You'll enjoy your mental health benefits of decluttering more if you make the process low stress. Use these tips for decluttering. So here are some tips. Start small. If you pick one drawer or cabinet to organize, you'll be less likely to get discouraged. The pleasure of seeing and using a well-organized space will serve a positive feedback, prompting you to do more. Building structure. If you invite friends over for dinner, you'll be motivated to declutter your kitchen. If you schedule someone to take your unneeded items, you'll have a target date for completing your decluttering. Make sure you allow some extra time, as decluttering can take longer than you expect. That is so true. It's not as simple, because you're not just, like I said, you're not just picking things up and throwing it in the trash. That's easy. But each item that you pick up, you now have to decide, what am I going to do with this thing? Am I going to throw it away? Am I going to give it away? Am I going to donate it? And am I going to sell it? What am I going to do with this thing? So it's not as simple as just picking it up and throwing it in the garbage. Don't strive for perfection. There's no need to hide items that you use a lot. Also, try not to judge your space against those of other people. That is another important tip right there. So here are some of the difficulties with decluttering. Getting rid of possessions can be hard for anyone, especially as we get older. Here are some things to be mindful of when it comes to clutterers and decluttering. So here are some characteristics of clutterers. People who have trouble with clutter often struggle with time management and stop tasks before finishing. have perfectionist tendencies and trouble stopping and starting projects, or easily sidetracked, such as those with attention deficits, or people persons who spend a lot of time doing things with and for others, make a habit of putting things off, also known as procrastination. And here's some information on older adults and clutter. The older we get, the more unneeded items we may have. Although we tend to gain fewer possessions after age 50, many older people are also less likely to sell things or give them away. In one study of people over 70, about 1/3 said they had not thrown out any possessions in the past year. Sometimes older adults don't get rid of clutter because it requires a lot of physical effort. In such cases, family members can help. It's better to handle clutter before ill health or death makes it urgent. And then there's hoarding disorder. Who has watched those shows on hoarders? You know, I've never really sat down and just watched one of those shows, but I've scrolled through and seen some of it. And oh my gosh, that is really a mental health disorder there. So decluttering can be especially hard for people with hoarding disorder, which affects about 2.5% of Americans. Hoarding disorder was officially recognized as a psychiatric disorder in 2013. Experts first classified it as a form of obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, but now recognize it as a separate condition. Researchers have found that those with hoarding disorder have intense brain activity when they think about letting go of possessions. They can't, let's see, what does it say, casually? Like I said, I'm going back and forth between that screen and this screen. They can't casually discard their belongings, even unneeded ones. Those with hoarding disorders can't organize and manage their things. Still, they collect more. Hoarding disorder is treatable, though most people who have it will continue to have some struggles. Treatments include medications, therapy, and support groups. So that is the article by WebMD. And this is about mental health benefits of decluttering. So let's get rid of that. Mental health benefits of decluttering. So where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? I think I have a video. There's a video that I want us to watch. What does Sister Johnny says here? I've seen some of it. Sister Johnny says, and it was amazing how people replace relationships with things that can be unhealthy for them. Khan says, that is so true. It really is a sad thing to see, because while they're in it, I can see how it could be tied in with OCD, with obsessive compulsive disorder, because it just becomes an obsession to buy more things and, you know, just the compulsion to buy, the obsessions. I can see how once you get on that's it's basically like a hamster wheel and not being able to get off of that. So I think there's a video. Yes, this video. Yes. This is the video I want to show. It's by Nina Lavon, a psychologist and life coach. And this is decluttering sentimental items. These are items that, gosh, we have that deep emotional attachment to. And she talks about the psychology behind hoarding and hoarding memories, clutter, and how to declutter, how to get rid of these things, these items that have this sentimental attachment, that we have this sentimental attachment to. So let's watch this video. And once again, I don't know if I'm even going to be able to hear this video. I wish I could. I hope I can, but I cannot. So fair use, this is for educational purposes only.
Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Nina. I'm a life transformation coach, and today I'm so excited because we're going to be talking about something that I greatly struggled with for much of my life, and that is the psychology behind sentimental items and how to finally learn to let some of these items go. Now, I'm going to give a huge disclaimer that this video is not about how to throw all these items in the trash, and I do not believe that we need to throw all these items in the trash. And it's also not a video about what to do with these items once we decide that we do want to let some of them go. So we know that if we made the decision, we could easily find something to do with them. We could donate them, we could take a picture of them, we could give them to other family members, we could sell them. So it's not a video about that. This video is about the psychology behind why we have the attachment to these items, because it is my belief that when we can understand where our attachment comes from and what's really underneath it, we can really make better decisions about the items that we want to keep or not keep as we are going forward into our future. So as you watch this video, please view it with a lens of compassion for yourself, because this is not always an easy topic to address and to really think about. So we want to just be loving and understanding with ourselves. And I just want to, again, reiterate that this is something that I am personally familiar with. I was definitely someone that lived in disorganization and clutter for years and years. People jokingly called me a mad scientist, and this is something that I greatly struggled with, especially when it came to sentimental items. So this is something I'm very familiar with, and I know how important it is that we do really offer ourselves self-love and compassion as we're starting to address this issue. So that being said, let's go ahead and start at the beginning and talk about, in general, the 4 different reasons why we tend to keep items in general. So there's really 4 categories. The first one is need. We have a purpose for this item. Very simple to understand. The next one is joy. It could be something that just brings us pleasure, something that could be beautiful to us. It could be, an aesthetic thing. So that could be under the category of joy. The next reason is guilt. We keep a lot of things out of guilt. Now, it could be that we feel guilty that we spent the money on the item. It could be that we feel guilty that we haven't used it. So in a way, we almost feel bad for the item. We want to actually use the item. And in other cases, we have guilt getting rid of them because they were given to us from other people, or people in our life make us feel guilty at the thought of letting these items go, so we can have some guilt attached to them. And of course, the fourth thing is exactly what we're talking about today, which is that we could have a sentimental attachment to these items. They could bring up very strong emotions for us, which makes it feel very threatening for us to let them go. There's also 4 different psychological concepts that really help us to explain why we tend to cling to items to begin with. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about each of those very briefly, only because in the case of sentimental items, all 4 of these concepts apply. And then I want to dig a little bit deeper and offer some very specific reasons that could be happening for you. I'll offer also what was going on for me. But if we can kind of get to the root again to what is happening subconsciously for us, it can make it a lot easier to really discern what to do with these items if it is just baffling to us why we can't seem to let them go. So let's start by talking about those 4 psychological concepts. Now, the first one is called the endowment effect, which basically just means we have difficulty letting things go that we already own. So we value things more once they are actually a possession for us. Now, this is something we learn very, very early on as children. We get this concept of something being mine, and that's why it's really important for people that are trying to cut down on clutter, that when people offer them things, to say no before they come into our household, because once we feel that we have ownership of it, it makes it that much more difficult to let it go. So in fact, research really shows when a person owns something, if someone were to offer them the identical thing or a newer version or even a better version of that item, in most cases we're going to want to hold on to the one that we already own, and that is simply because of this endowment effect. Now, the second concept is called loss aversion, and that basically just means that humans have a stronger need to not lose what they already have than to gain something new. So it becomes a bigger priority in our life to hold on to what we already have and to not lose it than to try to get more. And that can be in terms of, physical objects, and that can also be in terms of relationships or anything of the like. And the third concept I'm sure you're already familiar with, and that is the psychological concept of nostalgia. And that is simply when we have a longing for a certain place or time that we feel was somehow better than the present moment. So we have a very, very positive association, very positive memories towards this time or place. So it makes sense that we may want to hold on to things that make us feel nostalgic. And the fourth one is a concept that you probably haven't heard of, and this comes from psychologist Russell Belk, who really coined this term, and the term is called sacralization, which I know has a few other meanings, but this one that we're talking about today is when it's specifically applied to psychology. So it basically explains a phenomenon that can happen when someone passes away or a relationship ends or there is some loss of some kind, and we cling onto an object because somewhere inside of us we believe that the essence of that person is actually attached to that item still. So really, as the word indicates, the item itself becomes sacred to us. We are, scared to let it go because it's, really the last thing we feel like we have of that person. We can almost feel like it keeps us company, that it is kind of alive in some way. And this concept really helps us to understand why people spend so much money on things that used to belong to celebrities, because they feel like they are really having a piece of that actual person. So it's that inability to really separate the person from the item because we believe the essence of that person is still somehow attached to the item itself. So those are the psychological concepts that can help us to better understand what is happening when we are really attached to these sentimental items. But as promised, I want to dig a little bit deeper and give you maybe some specific examples of what could be happening for you. Now, the first thing can be a desire to create a museum of your life or a history of your life or someone else's life. So let's say it is a desire to create a museum of someone else's life. So what do I mean by that? This is a common thing that happens for parents, especially. It could be when their children are born, they start by saving their teeth that fall out or their hair and their baby shoes and their first Halloween costume and their first Christmas outfit, and then it kind of snowballs and expands from there. Because again, we are trying to keep all of these artifacts because we want to kind of create that museum or that history of their life. Now, I'm not talking about holding on to one or two items a year and putting them neatly in a box. We're just talking about when things really start to take over and we really feel like we can't let any of this history go. And of course, we can do this for our own lives as well. The second thing that commonly happens is that we are keeping these things for future validation. So this means that we maybe feel that we did some great things and we want to hold on to all of these things in hopes that at some point we're going to be able to showcase these off to other people. So maybe we don't feel that we're ever going to really have a life that is great as we once have, or maybe we won't have the same amount of achievement. So we want to make sure that we really hold on to and cling to anything that really showcases all the great things that we did. Now, this is the one that I personally struggled with the most. So I'll give you some background to maybe help you understand why. But before I was a life coach and before I studied psychology, I was a professional dancer. I spent 10 years dancing for Walt Disney World, and then I went on to have my own dance studio and dance company. So during this time, I acquired dozens and dozens and dozens of beautiful costumes. Now, when I decided that it was time for me to have a new career path and I was going to be actually even moving out of the state, I had to get rid of, most of my possessions. And I struggled somewhat with some items, but the things I struggled with the most were these beautiful costumes. Now, I had absolutely no need for them. I was never going to wear them again. And I didn't really understand why I was having so much trouble letting them go. So when I was able to really dig deep and got honest with myself, I realized that I had this kind of weird fantasy going on. And that was that I was going to, at some point, show my children these costumes and they would be so impressed by everything that I did. And I would show them this was the real costume I wore in this and this show. And they would be, so happy about it. And then I realized, well, firstly, is that day going to ever come where everyone is gathered around and we have this big presentation? That's never going to happen. And for some reason, if it did happen, couldn't I just show a photograph or one costume when I really, really need dozens and dozens of costumes? And lastly, is that really where I want my validation from my children to come from? It would come from, some show that I performed in, or would it be validation coming from being a good person? That would be more important. And so once I, really worked out these things in my mind and I offered myself love and compassion for, the desire that I had, I was able to really work through it and realize that it was very irrational thinking and that I really did not need to hold on to these items. So I kept, I think, 2 or 3 maybe even, which was impressive coming from probably 100 costumes. And that was something I was very, very comfortable doing. I was very comfortable donating the other items because I was able to get to the root of the problem and I was able to address the problem, again, with love and compassion and understanding for myself. And that's really the link that we have to think about. We have to really work through these emotions that we're having and understand them and process them so we're able to move forward. And again, moving forward doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to throw an object away. It's just understanding where the attachment came from. Now, the third thing that can happen, I think happens for so many people, and it's very understandable, and that is the fear that our memories are going to fade if we get rid of the object, or, our memory is going to leave us altogether. Now, we have to understand that our memory really has nothing to do with an object. Now, I'm not saying that when we hold this object or we look at this object, it doesn't trigger a memory. But if we were to look at a photograph or we were to merely think about, that memory, we would be able to still pull it up equally as well as if we had the actual item. So it's just that fear that, letting these things go mean that our memories of those wonderful times are going to fade, and that is definitely not the case. And the fourth thing that can happen, and this is one that I also see very, very commonly, is that we have difficulty letting things go because it feels like a final goodbye. We feel like we are throwing away some aspect of our life or aspect of another person. And we feel like once that item is gone, that chapter of our life is officially over. So it can feel very threatening to us to really get rid of these items because some parts of us want to keep that again, maybe memory or that time period alive for us somehow. And it becomes very painful to let these things go because it's kind of admitting to ourselves that this is no longer our reality and maybe we're really not ready to take that step. Now, clearly, these are not all the reasons that we may have a sentimental attachment to things. So if none of these rang a bell, please let me know in the comments below what you think really is causing your own sentimental attachment to items. And also, please understand that it is not a necessity to get rid of all sentimental items, and that is certainly not the purpose of this video. This video is about understanding our attachment to items so that we can make better decisions, again, about what we want to bring with us into the future. The goal here is to simply learn to separate the object itself from the memory or the person or the emotion or whatever it is that is leading us to hold on to it. And once we can really get to the bottom of that, then we can, again, make good decisions that make us feel comfortable. So that could be that we end up keeping that item. Maybe it brings us joy. Maybe it has a purpose. Maybe it's something that is too precious to let go. But that wouldn't be the case for every single item. So when we can have this discernment, when we can just take these objects one by one and think critically about them and get to the bottom of our attachment to them, it just makes it so much easier to let them go if that's the final decision, or it makes us understand why they really are so valuable for us. So I truly hope that this video was helpful for you. If it was, please like it, share it with someone else who may need to hear the same message, and definitely subscribe for more, because this video is one in an entire series I am doing about clutter and disorganization and trying to kind of get our lives under control. Because again, this is something that I greatly struggled with. So I really understand the desire to get these types of things in order in your life. So as always, thank you so much for spending time with me today. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Have an absolutely amazing day.
So I am over here playing musical headphones. I actually had to connect my headphone to my mobile phone so that I could listen to the video, because I'm not able to hear it through the microphone like I normally do. So I don't know what's going on there, but I'll definitely have that fixed before next week. But I had to listen to this video one more time. So what did you all think about what she had to say about getting rid of these sentimental items? What did you think about that? And she did mention using discernment when you are making the decision about what to do with these items that you have this deep emotional attachment to. let's see what's going on here. Sister Sierra is here. She says, Shalawam, beautiful, regal, Ahchwathyam. Yes, Shalawam to you too. Regal Ahchwath, beautiful self. Shalawam to you. And Sister Johnny says, this is a great show after a short break. Right on time, sis Koala. The water to you all. Yes, it really was timely. It was super timely for me because, like I said, I just moved. And this move is actually what triggered this thought about having this show about decluttering, because I have all of these sentimental things that are in boxes and that get carried from place to place and end up in the garage. Years ago, I ended up having a bunch of stuff in storage. I was moving and had a misfortune of loss of job, and long story short, I lost my storage with furniture, all of my memorabilia from my travels when I was in the military, when I traveled overseas, when I was in Germany, when I was in Greece, when I was went to where was I? In Paris. All of these beautiful places. Oh my gosh, my yearbook, my pictures of my childhood, my children's pictures. And I lost all of that. And that was not through a voluntary decluttering. Absolutely not, because those are items, a lot of those items, of course, my children's pictures, my pictures from my childhood, those are of such great sentimental value that those are things that we never want to get rid of, nor should we. Those are the things that we should hold on to. But unfortunately, there was a time in my life where I lost those things. And so now it's like, whenever I have certain things that I know these things are sentimental, these things are, attachments because of my children, because of my grandchildren, because of certain things that I value, these are things that I do hold on to and, will not let go. But in the process of that, I have to learn how to let go of the other things that do not have that type of emotion, that I don't have that type of emotional and sentimental attachment to. And once you do that, then the things that you are holding on to, it doesn't seem like clutter. It really doesn't become clutter if you get rid of the unnecessary things. Does that make sense? So who out there, sisters, how do you all feel about this? Are you all ready to start getting rid of some stuff? Getting rid of some stuff, right? Because you don't realize how much stuff you have until you move, until it's time to move. That's when you realize, and I hear this all the time. I've heard myself say this many times. When I moved from California to here, I said that. I was like, oh my gosh, you never realize how much stuff you have until it's time to move. And then I get here, and then less than a year later, it was like, oh, you're going to have to move again. And I started thinking at that point, oh my gosh, look at all this stuff that I have. How much of this stuff do I really need? And that's when this show that's when I decided this is a show not just for me. And since I started promoting this show, I've heard from other sisters, oh my gosh, I really need this. I really need to hear this because I need to get rid of stuff also. So this is, and we as women especially, you know, we have all those emotions and those sentimental things that going on. So it's really more difficult for us to let go of things, right? So let's see, who have we here? Sister Sierra says, perfect timing for this topic. The water says, Sister Johnny says she can identify with a lot of things, she said. Sister Jeanette says, I totally agree with the video because my son was murdered. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, sis, in 2008. And when I got in this truth, that's when I started to get rid of his stuff. It's really hard, sis. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, sis. I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, though that's difficult. That's really hard, a hard one right there. Sister Sierra says yes. Con, it does. Makes perfect sense. Sister Johnny says, Con, makes perfect sense. I've already started. Con says, yes, me too. Me too. So here's this other article. And this article is by Very Well Mind, How Clutter and Mental Health Are Connected. Because once again, we need to realize the connection, because a lot of times our physical environment is a reflection of our mental state. So and vice versa. When we have a lot of clutter in our minds and confusion, when we're indecisive, it usually shows in our space, whether it's the home, whether it's the office, wherever that may be. If we have a lot of mental clutter, we're going to have a lot of physical clutter as well. And then once you have that physical clutter, it impacts your psyche, it impacts your mind, your emotions, your spirit. So it's a continuous cycle. So we have to start somewhere, and usually that place should be starting with the physical, starting to remove the physical clutter. And once you start doing that and releasing and letting go of these things, then you're going to realize that you start now releasing the emotions that are attached to those things. And a lot of times it's a lot of negative emotions that are attached. Of course, there's sentimental emotions, sentimental attachments as well. But then when you sit back and really think about it, like I said earlier, is there another way that we can hold on to these memories minus the clutter? It's not going to erase our memories once we get rid of the stuff. Because when I lost that storage facility that had all that stuff in it, it was like, and this was many years ago. But I remember it was like the Holy Spirit came to me and just comforted me and reminded me that although those things were gone, I still have the memories. I still have the memories of my children when they were born, when they was, when as they were growing, as their different milestones. Those memories are still intact, and I thank the Most High for a sound mind. I thank the Most High for a sound mind, that I still have those memories, and I pray that I'll have those memories until I'm no longer here. And so I protect my mind, I protect my mental state, because I don't know if you all remember those commercials back in the day. One of them said, "This is your mind on drugs," and then it says, "A mind is a terrible thing to waste." And it really is. Your mind is a terrible thing to waste. So once you have sound mind, wow, that's a blessing every day to wake up in your right mind. And so I was saying, when I lost all of that stuff, pictures of my childhood, pictures of, my military, my travels, of course, my children, different milestones in my life, and the furniture and all of that other stuff didn't bother me. It was like, okay, I can always get more furniture, different furniture. I can get this, I can get that. I also had a lot of memorabilias that I had collected in my travels. And so I had all of this memorabilia stuff, and those were gone. But that didn't really affect me as much as, of course, like I said, the things that I had that were the emotional attachment to these milestones in my life and my children's lives. And so, but I've learned to live with that. And if I can learn to live with the loss of those things, I can certainly learn to live with the loss of these other things that I don't have that kind of attachment to. And so once you start putting things into perspective, you're able to now let go more easily. So let's look at this. Let's look at this this article. Let's see, how are we doing with time? Oh, we are. You know what? I think we've gone over how the mental and health and clutter are connected. So I think I'm going to bypass this article and move on. I'm going to bypass this article. So now that we are, and what I can do is I can actually copy the link and put it in the box for you. I'm going to put this link in the box so that you can read this in your own time. Trying to paste this in here. There we go. So there's that article, and yeah, so you all can read that in your own time. So now that we're aware of the impact that clutter has on our emotional and mental state, I think it's time for us to declutter the physical spaces so that we can achieve mental and emotional clarity. Because like I said before, this is where it all begins, is let's just start. We have to start somewhere. And I think the easier place to start is to actually start by decluttering physically, and then we can move on to the mental and emotional. How do we do that? And where do we begin? Where do we begin by doing that? And so here's an article by Glad. And this article goes into how to declutter your home without a hassle. How to declutter your home without a hassle. So Sister Diane says, Khan, there was a point that was brought up in the other video that our lives are bigger than the stuff we collect. That point hit home with me. All praises. All praises. Sister Zion says, yes, time to declutter. Prioritize. Amen. Amen. Khan. So how do we do this? How do we start to declutter our homes? Our homes. Yes, this is where it begins. Let's get this space clean. Decluttered. And this article is by Glad. Wouldn't you know? Glad trash bags. They would promote decluttering, right? Where to start if you want to declutter your home? Making the decision to declutter your home can feel like a huge step in and of itself. But it's actually getting started is a much larger obstacle. Yes, getting started, particularly if you have a big decluttering job ahead of you. Knowing where to begin, the process can be overwhelming, which is why coming up with a decluttering game plan is so essential. And I mentioned, let me read from this right here. Something closer to me so I'm not having to strain my eyes. Yes. Okay, so it says here, before you dive in, figure out what your decluttering goal is. Do you merely want to get rid of visible mess, or do you want to create an entirely new household organizational systems to use going forward? Knowing what your end goal is can help you prioritize tasks and figure out your next steps. Another trick to kickstart your decluttering, start with what you feel is the easiest room first. For example, if you know you need to do an overhaul of your entire wardrobe, don't tackle your bedroom and closet first. If you begin with, don't tackle your bedroom and closet first. If you begin with a simpler decluttering job, say cleaning out and reorganizing your spice rack, it can empower and motivate you to tackle bigger decluttering projects. That's true. That's what I did. That is what I did. I started off with the spice, the spice cabinet. Actually, and I hadn't even read this article at that point. And then it says the best way to tackle a cluttered room. As you get ready to start the decluttering process, it helps to have a system in place that you can use as you clean and reorganize. One super simple, straightforward option is the 4-box method. Using 4 boxes or storage bins, you can streamline your decluttering job. Here's a breakdown of how just 4 boxes can make tackling a cluttered room a breeze. Box number 1, trash. The first box will be your designated trash dump. Any items you want to get rid of that aren't worth donating or selling goes here. Pro tip, to save yourself a step, go ahead and use Kitchen Force Flex Max Strength bags. Free clean scent. Of course, they have to plug their products instead of a box, so you can take your trash straight to the curb after cleaning up. And don't forget to recycle items whenever possible. Check out Glad's Guide to what can and cannot be recycled to learn more. Number 2 is your giveaway and sell box. Next, designate a box for items that are still in okay condition but that your household could do without. The old books or toys, for example, whether you want to give these things away to family, friends, donate them to charity, or sell them in a yard sale to make a little extra money is totally up to you. Number 3, box number 3 is storage. This box is for things that you can't or don't want to get rid of, but that you aren't in need of on a day-to-day basis. Think things like seasonal decorations. It's also a good idea to make an inventory of items that you're putting in storage as you go. That way you won't be left wondering what exactly is taking up space in your garage or attic down the line. Box number 4 is put away. Lastly, have a box ready to place any items that need to be kept in your house, but relocated to their proper place. If you want to get really organized, you can have a few smaller boxes, one each for places like your bathroom, kitchen, or bedrooms, and sort misplaced items into their homes to save yourself the hassle later. One last decluttering pro tip: if you have the need for it, you can add a 5th box to this method, one for items that can be repaired, replaced, rather than tossed out or donated, like a watch that needs a new battery. So how to declutter your bedroom. Tackling your bedroom may seem like an overwhelming project, especially if you're just learning how to declutter efficiently. To start your bedroom decluttering off on the right foot, spend a few minutes tidying it up first. Make your bed and pick up any dirty clothes that might be strewn across the floor. Heaven forbid this is going on. Across the floor. Once the visible day-to-day mess is out of the way, you'll be more motivated to move on to these problem areas. So next is the nightstand. If you have a nightstand that you use as a catch-all storage space for your clutter, now's the time to go through it with a fine-tooth comb. Unless you need access to something before bed, like a sleep mask or earplugs, the nightstand is not a place for it. Don't forget to declutter the top of your nightstand too. Clear off anything that isn't essential, lamps or alarm clocks, for example, and minimize the knickknacks and decor you keep displayed on top for a less cluttered look and easier cleaning. Next is dressers and drawers. Is there anything worse than messy, overstuffed drawers? If you're tired of having to dig through a sea of disorganized clothes to find what you need every day, it's time to sort each item of clothing in your dresser using the 4-box method. A good rule of thumb: if you haven't worn it in at least 6 months, or it no longer fits, it doesn't belong in your dresser drawers. Once you've pared things down, try folding your clothes into small rectangles and placing them face up instead of stacked atop of one another, so you can easily see each item when you pull the drawer open. That is one thing that the Army was good about, is helping us to fold things in little tiny, or I shouldn't say fold, roll things in little tiny rolls and put them neatly in the drawers. I need to get back to that military mindset. I really do. When it comes to organization, closets. If you want to really declutter your home, it's necessary. Let's get there. To spend a significant chunk of time decluttering your closets, as they can be major havens for clutter. Before you start sorting things using the 4-box method, it's a good idea to remove everything from your closet and lay it all out so you can easily see exactly what you have. And this was so important. This is something that I did when I was moving my stuff. I didn't just take the stuff out of one closet and bring it here and put it in the other. I dumped all of my clothes that were in the closet on the floor, and I picked through them one by one, and I chose which ones were worthy of making it into my new closet. And believe me, not all of them made the cut. Many of them did not make the cut. That's all I have to say. I feel bad for them, but oh well. So before you start using the 4-box method, it's a good idea to remove everything from your closet and lay it all out so you can easily see exactly what you have. This is also a good opportunity to wipe down any shelves and surfaces in your closet that rarely gets cleaned. Next, ask yourself a few key questions as you decide what items you want to keep. When is the last time I wore this? Does this piece of clothing make me feel good when I wear it? Do I have something similar to this that I like more? It's also a good rule of thumb not to keep something for someday, like if it no longer fits, but you're keeping it around just in case it fits again one day. We talked about that earlier. That mindset is how clutter accumulates. All right, let's scroll some more. It says, when you're putting away things you want to keep after the purge, that's a good way to put it, make sure to put your most worn items in easily accessible spots, and then organize things however works best for you, whether it's by color, season, or occasion. So here's some decluttering ideas for your bathroom. Although bathrooms can be relatively small spaces compared to other rooms in your home, that doesn't mean they can't accumulate just as much clutter. Here are some decluttering ideas that will make your bathroom more organized than ever before. So purge your beauty products. Some of the biggest culprits of bathroom clutter are beauty products, makeup, skincare products, hair accessories, and more. If you haven't used a product in 6 months to a year, toss it into a Glad small scented garbage bag for disposal. It's also good to break the habit of accumulating duplicates of things. For example, don't open a new bottle of shampoo if you still have a couple days worth of product left in an old one. Take stock of your medicine cabinet. You might open your medicine cabinet every day, but when was the last time you actually cleaned it out? Take everything off the shelves and toss anything that's old or no longer usable, like stretched out hair ties or expired medications. Then wipe down the inside before returning the items you're keeping to your medicine cabinet. Create hidden spots for storage. And this article has a lot more stuff here. So what I'm going to do in respect of time, this is another article that I am going to put. In the chat box here, because we are way over the 2-hour point, and I want to respect y'all's time because a lot of people have to go to work tomorrow. So I put that link in here with more of the decluttering tips, okay, for going room to room. And I'm going to stop sharing right there. So now you all have that article. You can now, at your leisure, that's another article that you can now, go through in your spare time. So let us move on. So where are we? So yeah, I'm just going to summarize because, gosh, we've gone through a lot. We've gone through a lot tonight. So in summary, I'm going to wrap this up really quick here. Decluttering your home can be a refreshing and liberating process. And I'm going to give you just 10 quick tips on just to summarize this decluttering process. Number one, start small and focus. Begin with a small area like a drawer or a corner of a room to avoid feeling overwhelmed. Focus on one task at a time, like sorting out just your clothes or kitchen utensils. Number two, we talked about the 4-box method. Label 4 boxes as keep, donate, sell, and trash. And as you go through each item, throw it in one of these 4 boxes. Number 3, adopt the 1 in, 1 out rule. Here's another rule. For every new item that you bring into the home, commit to removing an old one. So if you bring one new thing in, get rid of an old one. And this helps to prevent clutter from building up again. Number 4, set decluttering goals. Set specific measurable goals for your decluttering process, such as declutter the bedroom, closet by the end of the week. Break large tasks into smaller, manageable ones to keep the momentum. Number 5, declutter by categories, not by room. So instead of decluttering the entire room by room, tackling item categories such as clothes, books, or kitchenware, this method was inspired by Marie Kondo, can help you see the full extent of your belongings. Number 6, limit sentimental items. Be selective about which sentimental items you keep instead of holding on to everything. Choose a few pieces that genuinely mean a lot to you. Consider taking photos of items you're emotionally attached to, but don't have the space for. Number 7, maximize your storage solutions. Use storage solutions like baskets, bins, and organizers to keep things tidy. Utilize vertical spaces with shelves and hooks to free up floor space. Number 8, establish a routine. Make decluttering a regular part of your routine. Spend 10 to 15 minutes each day tidying up a specific area. Regular maintenance prevents clutter from piling up again. Number 9, digitize when possible. Scan and store important documents, photos, and other paper items digitally to reduce physical clutter. This also applies to books, CDs, and DVDs. Consider switching to digital formats. And number 10, be patient and persistent. Decluttering is a process that takes time, especially if you've accumulated a lot of stuff over the years. Celebrate small victories and don't get discouraged if it takes longer than expected. Decluttering not only helps to create a more organized and serene living space, but also often brings a sense of clarity and peace of mind. And that's what we were talking about. Not just a physical clutter, but the mental and emotional clutter. So, wow, we are moving right along. Oh, wow. Sister Diane with this, the water says, Koala, I hope to declutter at least 2 rooms this week. Woohoo! Yahoo! Yes, woohoo! I love to hear that. I love to hear that because I'm on that. I am on a roll with the decluttering as well. I sure am. I am. The stuff in my garage, that is the stuff right there that I really need to tackle, but that's going to be after the house. So, wow, that was great. I think that was a wonderful, wonderful way to start, to come back and to get started with Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty, to get back on a roll. So let's talk about, do I have any questions, any comments, any concerns? Please put them in the chat box. The water, Sister Diane, the water. Put your comments or questions in the chat box real quick. So let's talk about next week. Next week's show, I am going to have a special guest that is going to have a book reveal. She is going to reveal her book. And I'm not going to say who it is. I'm not going to say what the book is about finances. And so for those of us that want to, learn steps on financing, on how to save, how to invest, all of that, you'll want to be here next week with my special guest. And please be here so that show up for her, because this is a sister that has written this book, and I can vouch for her that she knows what she's talking about when it comes to stretching a dollar and making it scream, because she knows how to save. She knows how to budget. She knows how to invest. And so I think that for those of us who would like to have more information on money matters, next week is going to be really important. I want you to show up for her. So that's next week. The following week is Declutter Your Life, Part 2. And this is where we're going to be talking about mental and emotional cleansing. We're going to go more in depth about that. We've learned how to declutter the house physically, the garage, so on and so forth, the physical decluttering. But 2 weeks from now, we're going to talk about the mental and emotional decluttering. How do we get rid of or tackle these negative thoughts, these negative emotions that are keeping us stuck, that are causing mental confusion and keeping us stuck in the past, right? Because there are so many negative emotions that can keep us stuck in the past where we can't move forward. So we're going to talk about these things, decluttering emotionally and mentally. All right, and then let's keep in mind next year, tea party, the annual summer tea party next year, somewhere around this time. And I've had one volunteer that one sister Ashley has volunteered to help me with the preparation for the tea party next year. So sisters, if you have time and you want to get with me so we can start brainstorming on this tea party for next year, I appreciate your input. Okay, I really do. So reach out to me, ShebrewRoyaltyBiz@gmail.com. So we are at the end of this show. Sisters, I hope that you found the information that was presented tonight useful. If you did, please do me a favor and share this video with your sister friends and relatives. Let's grow this channel so that this information can reach Shebrews throughout the four corners of the earth. And even those that are not Shebrews but are willing to be a part of our community. And once again, we are to let our light shine so that others can be led to the source of the light. We're not the source. We know the source is YASHAYA, but we are to let that light shine so that we can lead others to the source. So it is so good to be back. I love you all so much. I always appreciate you taking time out of your very busy schedule to have tea and conversation with me and to learn with me. So Tawada, thank you for all of your support. Tawada. Know that I'm praying for you. I'm praying for us. So until the Most High brings us back together, may you prosper and be in good health. And remember, true healing begins inwardly before it is expressed outwardly. So let's see, do I have any more messages here? Sister Johnny says, my mother says, my oldest sister can hold on to $1 until it hollers. That's what I'm talking about. The water says, love you. Love you too, Sister Jeanette. Awesome, says, love it. Sister Zion says, Sister Johnny says, appreciate you very much, Sister Kuala. The water and Shalawam, Shalawam, sisters. So good to be back. So good to be back. So, I am your hostess, Kuala Yakaka, a voice of reasoning and justice. Have a wonderful and blessed night. Good night. And have a blessed week. Have a blessed and prosperous week. And the Most High willing, we'll be back next week. Same tea time, same tea channel. Love you all so much. Ahchwathyam. Shalawam. Shalawam, sisters. Shalawam.